Hi, I'm Janine Firpo. In this demo, I'm going to be showing you 3 tools that are freely available on the web that you can use to assess the ESG or environmental, social, and governance ratings or rankings of different companies. The 3 tools that I will be showing you are first, MSCI ESG ratings, which you can see here. And this particular rating system or rating agency looks at over 8,500 different companies and 680,000 different financial products across the world. The next tool I'm going to show you is Just Capital. This is a nonprofit that was founded in part by Arianna Huffington and Deepak Chopra, interestingly enough, and they look at and rate over 800 different companies. And the third tool that I'll be showing you is Yahoo Finance, which has a sustainability score. Now, the interesting thing about these tools, and actually in any rating agency that's looking at companies or funds, there is no standard. So each of these different tools will look at and give a different overview or a different conclusion in terms of how they see a particular company performing in terms of the ESG. And I'm going to show you that because we're going to look at a couple of the same companies on each of these tools. This makes it difficult for us to do an assessment, but one thing that you can do is look at the same company on a couple of different sites, and that can help you see where there are similarities or differences in terms of how the companies are rated. So let's start with the MSCI ESG rating site. And as you can see on this site, the way the ratings work is that companies are graded from the high of AAA all the way down to the low of CCC. And you can actually watch a little video if you want about how MSCI comes up with these ratings. You can also download a brochure. What we are going to do, though, is we are going to scroll down to this part of the page where we will see the ESG ratings corporate search tool. And we're going to go ahead and click there to explore the tool. And once we get into the tool, we can actually search by a company name or the company's stock ticker. And if you remember from previous videos, that's simply a 3 to 4 letter acronym. Sometimes it's only 2, an acronym that describes that particular company and is a way that you can easily search for it and refer to it. So we're going to look at a company that is getting a lot of press these days, which is Tesla. And let's see how Tesla shows up. Well, within MSCI, it's getting a pretty good score. It's getting an A, so it's not the best, but it's about third in the tier. And you can see that according to this particular assessment, their grade has gone down a bit. They were up at AAA back in July of 2017, but have dropped down over time. And you can scroll down a little bit farther and you can see why this particular company, in MSCI's opinion, is getting the grade that they're getting. So they are considered a laggard in terms of labor management. They're doing well or average in terms of their product safety and their carbon footprint. And that really refers to their manufacturing. And then they're an ESG leader in terms of their governance, their corporate behavior, and what they're doing around clean tech and bringing in a whole new industry, really, in the automobile industry. Now let's go back to the top and let's search for another company that is in a wrong place. Let me go to the right place. Another company that is also in the automobile industry. We are going to look for General Motors. Now, General Motors, you can see, does not do as well as Tesla. It is only getting a B grade, which brings it almost to the bottom of the stack, although they have improved since an earlier assessment or rating. And again, if you scroll down, you can see why they are receiving the rating that they're rating. In this case, they're considered laggards in product safety and quality, the carbon footprint, as well as their labor management. They are making some strides, at least, in terms of opportunities in clean tech and corporate behavior, and they're a leader in corporate governance. So Tesla here does better than General Motors. Now let's go over to the Just Capital site. Now, one of the things that's interesting about this site is that it actually lists in rank order the companies that have the highest rank. And so you can see that this company, that this rating agency gives Microsoft, NVIDIA, Apple, Intel, et cetera, very high ratings. Now, Just Capital thinks very highly of workforce management, and it is one of the things that they grade most intensely, where environment is one of the least important criteria for them. And so that has something to do with how their ratings come out. So once again, let's go ahead and look for Tesla here. There it is. What we find is that Tesla is actually doing very badly in terms of Just Capital's perspective. It is actually in the bottom 10% of companies overall, in their view, which might be surprising to some people. Now, it shows here how they rate this company relative to the industry average. And you can see that in terms of workers and how it invests its employees, they give it a relatively low rate. 10th in the industry, and there are only 11 companies in the industry, so it's pretty much at the bottom of the barrel from their perspective. It also rates under the average in most of these criteria, which is why this particular company probably ends up with the rating that it does. Now, you can go back in and you can do more research on this particular company by digging deeper into these various details, and you'll see a breakdown of how Just Capital thinks about workers, how it thinks about communities, and so on. So there is more information that you can find here. But for now, we'll just look at this level. Let's go back to rankings. And let's put in another name. Let's look now for General Motors, which we had looked at before with MSCI. And what you see here is that this company is doing much better than Tesla as far as as far as Just Capital is concerned. In fact, it is part of the Just 100, the top 100 companies for several years running, and also considered an industry leader for several years running. And if you go down and look at where they rank relative to industry standard, you can see that in many of these same categories where Just Capital said that Tesla was behind the industry average, General Motors is ahead of the industry average. So very different results that we saw from MSCI ESG and Just Capital. We can also do the same thing in Yahoo, and we can look for Tesla here. We find Tesla, this is its ticker, TSLA. And if we click on Tesla, then what we can do is scroll down and go to the sustainability bar. And what we will find here is a very different rating system. So in this case, we're getting a total ESG risk score. In this particular case, the risk is 31, which they consider high. They break that score down into environmental, social, and governance risk. They also talk about a controversy level score, and controversy for them is how much is this company showing up in the news in a negative way. And here we have the industry average. Here's Tesla. So Tesla is doing worse. It has more significant controversy than many of its peers. So 31 and not doing that well in terms of controversy. Now, if we look for General Motors, which has a ticker of GM, we're going to see something a little different. Once again, we go to the sustainability score. What's interesting is that this particular company has exactly the same score. It has a higher controversy rating, and some of its other ratings are higher too. So in this particular tool, Tesla comes out a little bit better, but they both have the same score. So the bottom line is this can be really confusing and difficult to make an assessment as to what company is better than the other. So on a company by company basis, making these assessments with the tools that are freely available is not particularly easy. We talk about some additional tools that you can use in the book and on the website to help you a little bit more. We point you to corporate social responsibility reports. But at the end of the day, making these decisions is really going to be up to you to try to dig a little into the company if you're doing this on your own, and to make decisions about what is most important to you and how are you going to make your choices. Is it more important to you that a company is really innovating around electric vehicles like we see with Tesla? Or is it more important to you that the workforce is being treated well? And if that's the case, then your investment decisions may be very different. So this is sort of where we are right now with free tools. I hope you find this helpful. You are going to have to do your own homework, but I do hope you find this helpful. And thank you so much for watching.